What is up, y'all? It is your man guy, Chef Kev, back at you again. We about to make another dope recipe. So today what we're gonna make is some protein air fried chicken. So let's get into it. So I went ahead and used chicken tenderloins for these chicken bites because they are a little bit easier to dice into squares, and they're a little bit cheaper than chicken breast, as well as they make a nice fillet when you cook them up, so they look really nice and striated after you get them all cooked. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and cut up all your chicken tenderloins. You're gonna wanna get them in a nice bite-sized pieces that you think are good enough for you to take maybe 1 or 2 bites out of and be completely done with it, so that way they all cook at the same rate and the same time and you don't overcook anything. You're gonna wanna go and put them in a bowl after you get them all cut, and then you're gonna wanna go and put some pickle juice in them. I know that sounds gross, but the pickle juice is a really good brine that helps break down the amino acids inside of the chicken and makes them a lot easier to bread and makes them a lot more tender after they cook. Now you're gonna wanna go ahead and set your chicken off to the side. You can leave it out of the fridge because you actually kind of want your chicken to get up to room temperature. I know that sounds counterproductive and you're probably thinking that sounds dumb, but if you get your chicken up to room temperature, then it doesn't have as far to climb to become fully cooked. Now while your chicken's sitting off to the side, go ahead and get out another bowl, and that's where you're gonna put your spices and your breading in. For your spices, you want 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. I ended up using all my garlic powder, so I just dumped the whole thing in there. You're gonna want 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of ground mustard. I know ground mustard sounds stupid, but it's really, really good on side of chicken. And then 1 tablespoon of paprika. Mix all that together and you have your spice blend. Next, you're gonna wanna go ahead and put in your protein powder and then crush up your bran flakes and put your bran flakes in. When I was making this recipe, I realized that putting the bran flakes in first, breading all the chicken, and then tossing the protein powder over top was actually a much better way to cook it, and it came in together a lot better. But if you want to do it the other way, you're more than welcome to do that. Now, after your meat has sat out and has gotten pretty close to room temperature, it doesn't have to be exactly, just around the 60 to 70 degree mark, maybe even if you get it up to 50, that's cool. Go ahead and pull it out, put it on a paper towel, and you already know what we're about to do right here. We're gonna get them things dry. Dried in them old Timberlands that you got in your closet that you wore every time you had to go shovel snow. Now to give your chicken some flavor, go ahead and put about 2 tablespoons of buffalo sauce or hot sauce, and then put 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey, depending on how much flavor you actually want in it. These just give it a really nice flavor, and they give the chicken a really good coating for when you go ahead and mix it in the breadcrumbs and all that. Go ahead and give it a mix up with your hands. I know everybody says, why my hands? Why can't I use a spoon? You don't want to use a spoon. Get your hands in there, give it a nice mix up, twirl your finger in there and make sure it gets all mixed nice and round. Then, the part that I had trouble with, I put my dry mix inside of the bowl with my chicken, and then I tried to mix it all together. That did not work that well. I would recommend taking the chicken out, dipping it into the breadcrumb mixture. It's not breadcrumb, but the protein powder mixture, and then setting it down on your rack. It is way more difficult to try to mix in all the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients than it is to mix the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients. Again, do you with this one, but I noticed it was way harder to mix the dry with the wet. You can actually see right here, it was so much harder for me to do the dry into the wet that I actually ended up having to add more protein powder and bran flakes into it just so I can get it good and evenly coated. So take my word for it, take my experience. I promise you it's way easier to just take your chicken, dip it into the mixture, put it on the rack, and be done with it. But this is the route I went. Now that you got all your chicken mixed up and you got it all coated completely inside of your protein powder, bran flake mixture, pull out your rack for your air fryer, spray it down with some nonstick oil. Trust me, you're gonna wanna do that or you're gonna have a really hard time getting them off. And then take each one out and put it on that rack. And when you put it on the rack, you need to make sure that it's completely coated front to back, top to bottom. Set it down. And then after you've set it down, give it a good spray of some canola oil or olive oil or whatever inside of a can so you can make sure that it has a little bit of moisture on the top for when it gets in that air fryer. Then you want to go ahead and pop them bad boys in your air fryer, 365 for 15 minutes. If you made your pieces smaller, you're going to want to reduce the time by a lot. Remember, you can always add more time. You can't take time off. So if you put 5 minutes in and it's not cooked, you can always give it another 5 minutes. But if you do a full 15 and it burns, well, you can't take that back. Ooh, look at them boys, they looking nice. Now go ahead and put them things out the air fryer, set them down, let them cool for about 5 minutes, because if you don't let them cool, you're gonna burn yourself. And if you touch them too quick, you're gonna peel off all the skin on them. You really want that skin to suck down, get cold, not cold, but get cool and get tight up on that chicken, because this thing is about to be oily doily wetty betty. Y'all already know how I do around here. So give them the 5 minutes, inspect your work, look at how amazing those look, and just know that you just made some pretty damn healthy fried chicken. Go ahead and take them, take a bite. Look how crispy, look how moist, look how striated, look how filleted. Look at how good that chicken looks, y'all. I'm telling you right now, this shit's amazing. So go ahead and make that recipe for yourself. That's it for me, y'all. I'm Chef Kev, and I'm out of here. Peace.
I don't want me to, yeah. I just want one boo, yeah. Fuck around, be you, yeah. Might blow a check, I ain't talking about sex. When I say that you wet, it's them diamonds on your neck. Girl, you earning your respect. What could I expect? Girl, you make that ATM shoot like a tech. Yeah, we flip the bags, yeah. Yeah, I get the cash, yeah. I'm praying I last, yeah. I'm hoping we last, yeah. Pull up in a Jag, maybe. You hop in the front, baby. Hop in the front, 2 seats.